What's up, fart sniffers? It's your boy, Stinky Johnson. And today I read Superman Meshi, which Superman manga. Oh my god, so crazy. What is DC on, bro, making this shit? So if you saw my Joker one, DC started making manga now for some reason. And this one's basically about Superman just like eating Japanese food, which is a really weird concept I'd like to address because Superman is exclusively a character in action stuff, and for him to be in this weird slice of life sort of like food series where he takes his friends out for food and he goes and tries new different kinds of Japanese food, like very weird. And not only that, but him as a character, he's a lot less sociable. He's more of like an introvert, and he kind of just likes being alone and eating alone. That goes, and also the characters seem a lot more sterile, almost like they were stripped of more angular parts of their personality to appeal to the lowest common denominator. And because this series is such a completely out of left field concept, I feel like it totes the line between being experimental and just being pandering to the new manga craze, because that's what sells. The Joker manga actually had a similar problem, but this one, like, it's worse. It's worse than this one. I feel like this one's a lot more sterile. I did not like this one as much. It's a lot more word heavy. If you like reading manga about food, then that's fine. You know, it's not my thing. But for Superman to be the main character in this is especially weird because they barely focus on the whole he's Superman aspect of that whole thing. There's maybe 2 parts in this manga where they focus on that. And one part is where he's like, oh, I can't take Lois out to get food because then if I fly her to Japan, she'll know I'm Superman. And then there's one part where he's eating crunchy noodles, and then this dude shows up he has to fight. When he comes back, the noodles become soggy. And like him having to fulfill a superhero duties ended up making his meal go soggy or something like that. And honestly, this concept could work, but there needs to be a specific reason why Superman was chosen to go around eating food like this. It feels like, at least in my mind, DC was like, Superman's popular, manga's popular, we don't really branch out from action stuff, so let's just take Superman and have him eat shit and talk about how good it is and how yummy wummy it is and describe all the different flavors of food. And I feel like maybe if DC wanted to go in that direction, maybe create a new character to do that, or maybe choose a different, like, either 2 things. One, just choose a character that it makes sense to do this with. If you're going to choose Superman, write the fact that he's Superman into the plot more, because otherwise it feels a bit random why he's in there. Or 3, if you want to get into the whole manga scene, just stick with what you know, because the action stuff is already good. All you'd have to do, I feel like, to appeal to a more manga-centric fan base is maybe nerf Superman to where he's just got like mid-tier super strength, he can fly, and he's not completely invulnerable. You know, he loses against people with superpowers more. I feel like they make him more balanced. And then, you know, give him a few arcs. I mean, it really depends on whether or not you want to go with a universe where Justice League exists or not. I'd suggest Justice League because, you know, branching out into other universes is kind of like things people don't like about DC comics. But I'm getting off topic. I feel like those are the situations where it could work, but it just doesn't really hit for me. Also, it feels like they're trying to loosely connect Superman with the food, because like every time Superman's eating a food, he'll try to like connect it to being a superhero, or he'll make really shitty puns where he's like, oh, I've got a super appetite right now, or oh, that food hit the super spot. And I'm just like, really, bro? And then like he'll be eating food with like 5 different flavors, and he's like, oh, these 5 different flavors represent the Justice League because there's 5 different people in it other than me, or 6 or whatever. And then I'm just like, does it though? Does it really represent that? Because I don't know, man. This is just kind of like, it's just kind of weird. They just missed the mark. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, for me, this is a 4 out of 10. I feel like for somebody else, it may be reach a 6 out of 10. But for me personally, this is a 4 out of 10. There are things I liked about it, but it's a bit word heavy in its food descriptions. The art for the food itself is not super like good and descriptive. Like if you're reading Food Wars, for instance, which mega sus series I never really got into for that reason, but you know, you could get hungry looking at it. But this food, like, the food looks just as sterile as the writing feels sterile. You know, it just looks generic almost. And you know, for the one action scene that's in this, the fighting does not look good either. Take a Baki panel or something where someone gets punched in the face and you get to see each individual skin fold from someone getting punched in the face, and then it's just like, pow, explosion effect, 1 punch. Like, see, that may have been something that, I don't know if this was drawn by American artists or Japanese ones. That may just be a learning curve thing. Because I know in comics, like when fights are happening, they won't show the point of impact in a panel. They'll show the after effect of the impact. So like in manga, they'll show you this part of the punch. But in comics, they'll show you this part of the punch if someone was getting punched. So that may just be a learning curve thing. But I don't think they'll ever get past that learning curve if this is the kind of stuff they'll be writing, because they're not drawing very many action scenes. It's just eating food scenes. And, you know, it's whatever. Overall, this is definitely a 4 out of 10, though. It does not breach it. I might even say a 3, but it's not terrible. I mean, like, I was generally entertained by it. It's just nothing stands out. This is so by the books and honestly uninspired. This doesn't feel like someone created Superman eating food and doing food reviews because they had a passion for the idea. They just looked like they were throwing something at the wall to see if it stuck. And I feel like this personally didn't. Anyway, that's my Superman manga review. See ya.